What is going on, guys? Fire Pro Wrestling World. Now, this is a video just talking about how I think Fire Pro Wrestling World was just one game away from being a game that can probably compete with WWE 2K. And I really do mean that. I think this game was very close. Now, I know some people are going to look at the visuals of it and say, no, there's no way a game like this could even come close, but I disagree. I think the game is good. Now, I'm also going to tell you why the game is unplayable for me. At this point, it aged out to me, and I'm just not able to mess with it anymore. And it's because of the grappling system. The grappling system in this game just consists of you standing next to the opponent, and the CPU will just make you go into a grapple. It's like a stalemate grapple where you both grapple each other, and whoever presses the button first may get the move off. That's how this works. And you can see the way the animation looks. They both simultaneously have that animation where they bend their bend their backwards, and then they just kind of reach out and grab each other simultaneously, as opposed to one guy grabbing the other one. That is what I do not like. I don't like the fact that it's simultaneous, because look, he's dizzy. And then when they grapple, it's still a stalemate grapple. It's not one guy grappling the other one, because there's no grapple button in this. You just stand next to him and hope, and in hopes that the CPU puts you in a grapple. That to me is a huge flaw, because when you pick the guy up and he's very dizzy, I think you may have an advantage when you when you do a grapple, but the grapple should not be stalemate or mutual. It should be one guy grabbing the other, but it's not like that. It's just an equal grappling system, which, you know, when you play the other games like WWE 2K, you grapple him or he grapples you, and as long as I grapple the opponent, it's up to him to counter my grapple. He can't do a move from my grapple, but in this one, it's stalemate, it's simultaneous, which means one guy isn't grappling the other. It's just both grappling each other at once. And to me, that isn't what you want to see in a wrestling game. If I pick him up like he just picked him up, you can get in back of him and do a move like that. Of course, if you're in back of him, make sure to grapple. No question about it. But, and this is the CPU plan. I'm not playing this. But to me, that is where my biggest flaw is. If they had like a grapple button in this, and also you can do other matches in this. You can even do like kickboxing matches. So here I am in a boxing match. Now, there's no block button in this. There's no block button in this. The CPU has to block for you. And that is where the other flaw to me is at. But otherwise, the boxing is fun. As you can see, we're boxing each other. And, you know, and I do like that. Like the fact that you can do that. Now, it's not really listed as a boxing match on the option screen. It's called SW, or S1, which is really a generic way of saying K1, because it's really more kickboxing. The reason why these guys are boxing is because their moves, they have no kicks in their move set. So, and as you can see, there's grappling. Now, when you do S1 matches, you can't do wrestling moves. You can only do strike moves. So if you have strike moves from grapple position, those are the only moves you'll be able to do. You won't be able to do like body slams and stuff like that, and suplexes, obviously. But even this mode here is fairly cool. I mean, they just don't have a block. It's like the game was very close to having a good game, but there's just always that one thing that's left out of the game. And I don't know how you make a striking game with no block. Now, the CPU will block for you, but they never do unless you just stand there and don't press nothing. And who's going to do that? Who's going to gamble on that? So basically, you defend yourself by moving away from the opponent. But like I said, if they corrected these couple of things with one more version of Fire Pro, which from what I understand, there is no more Fire Pro, and that Fire Pro is completely, it's a dead series, or I don't know if dead is the right word, but they're not making any more of them. Is what I'm hearing. I would hope to be wrong on that, because if they fix that and they add a block button and add an actual grapple button where you're grappling your opponent as opposed to your opponent grappling, as opposed to it being a mutual grappling system, which to me is not really a good system to me. I think this game would be excellent. And then you would obviously polish the graphics a little bit, and then also, you know, do something about some of these animations. Because let's be honest, the game has, to me, it's aged out. It's not really something that I can sit here and play anymore with all the games that are out there. It has a lot of really cool customization. I will say, if you never had this game, that you did miss out. I will say that much. And I'm the guy in the green shorts. You can do taunts and stuff like that. Because the game could definitely be enjoyable. And no, this doesn't... It isn't good enough to replace like a full boxing title or MMA title, because it has gruesome fighting, which is cage fights and stuff like that, and it has so many options. I just feel like they left out some key stuff that held this game back from being, I mean, it would have been right there if they had an actual grappling system where you grapple the opponent or the opponent grapples you, as opposed to this mutual stalemate grappling system, and actually had a block button instead of just standing there and letting the CPU block for you, hoping they block for you, because it's going to be based on your blocking attributes. This game would be very, very extremely solid. And then, like I said, no, this game is not going to look real like WWE 2K or anything like that, but if you polish these graphics up a little bit to make them look a little bit better, and possibly maybe even go 3D on it, maybe just do something about the way the guys move around the ring, because the way the referee and stuff moves, it almost looks like they're sliding around the ring, and it just looks kind of funny. If they fix that stuff that I mentioned, I think Fire Pro, like a new version of Fire Pro, maybe make something called Fire Pro Forever or Fire Pro Beyond, whatever you want to call it. And with those key things that I mentioned, I would go as far as saying that would possibly be the best wrestling title there is. Even a game like WWE 2K. I mean, I'm not going to say it would be better. I can't really go that far. But I would say it would be very, very, very close.